Ladies and gentlemen, you have just entered the dungeon. This is Pillar to Post. I am your resident dungeon dweller. My name is Pete Wall, and this is your Monday Night Raw report. Now, not going to be one of those guys that is hypercritical of every single match that went down, but there was just this feeling of not there tonight. Now, I am under the weather. I do have that working against me, and I had a hell of a time getting through 3 hours of Raw. It wasn't just that it was all bad. It's just this dog's got a goddamn bad flu, and the excitement isn't there. There isn't that excitement, that pop that grabs you and has you on the edge of your seat any longer in WWE. You can get that feeling almost everywhere else. You watch Ring of Honor. Cody Rhodes just became their World Heavyweight Champion. You can watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. You got that feeling right there. You're on the edge of your seat because of the intensity that they bring to the ring. And then you tune into Monday Night Raw and everybody is playing it safe. They are using the same formula over and over and over again for every match. Now, I do want to say the beginning of the show started off very well. You had Braun Strowman just basically taking a dump in Roman Reigns' yard and tossing him into a ambulance, but we'll get into that later. The main event of the night, a women's gauntlet match, and they once again they had to say they were making history. This was historical. It was the first ever women's gauntlet match in WWE. Big fucking deal. This match could have been so much better, but they were relying on one key factor: putting Nia Jax over and putting Sasha Banks over in the end. Okay? Nia Jax should be put over. She is a big woman. She is a steamroller in that ring. But, on the other hand, her wrestling skills are just not where most of the other women's are. She's slow. She is boring. You know, for a lack of a better word, plain boring. But also, there was another factor I think that played into a lot of people's kind of slouching moment tonight. The big rumor of the night was Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to be back in the WWE. There was something special going to happen with Stone Cold tonight. Everyone kept on asking me on my live stream earlier today, have you heard Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be on Monday Night Raw? I said, yes, I've heard the rumors. I just haven't reported on it. Why? Because I figured it was all BS. Why? Because usually the rumors about certain superstars coming back are all fake. So it's to build interest, to watch. Now, before we go any further, I gotta hit up my sponsors because frankly, these guys make what I'm doing possible, and with your help, it keeps my shit going. First sponsor, as always, Circle of Steel, my own brand. This is the latest in the line in merchandise here for Circle of Steel, as well as Pillar to Post. There will be a Pillar to Post beanie coming very shortly, as well as t-shirts. They will be embroidered, and the t-shirts will be vinyl. They will be from sizes small to 5X, and that will be t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, baseball caps. I've got it all coming, and they have been selling, and I've got to constantly make more. So, Pillar to Post always has Circle of Steel backing it, and it is my personal brand, and I'm going to promote it as much as possible. And I'm going to take this off because this flu kicking my butt, and I'm sweating already. My other two sponsors, great to have them both on board. Audible. Now you get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com. Let me do that again. at audibletrial.com/pillar to post. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, or any kind of mobile device, as long as it's capable of using an audiobook on it. Now, they are great to be connected with, and frankly, they're giving you a free book, and they have so many wrestling-related books out there, autobiographies, children's novels, you name it, they have it. If you want wrestling content, say AJ Lee's new book or Justin Roberts, they have it. They have Roddy Piper autobiography, Ric Flair, the list goes on and on. But if you want maybe romance or fantasy or science fiction, they have all of it there. Check it out. Take advantage of their 30-day free trial. This is for people that have not used this link before. Okay? If you've already gotten your free audiobook through the Pillar to Post link, it is not going to work for you a second time. This is a one-time deal. So check them out. When you get your free audiobook, you don't even need to stick out the 30-day free trial. You can cancel your membership at any time and you will keep your free audiobook. And our latest sponsor, Grapple Merch. Visit grapple.bigcartel.com, and when using this code at the checkout counter, Pillar to Post 77, you receive a discount courtesy of Pillar to Post and Grapple Merch for wrestling memorabilia such as t-shirts, autographed photos, WWE Elite wrestling figures in your very own Grapple box. Now they have, like I said, autographs, t-shirts, you name it. And this week, their latest box is now available, and I will be ordering it tonight. It is Grapple Box number 4 Elite. And after this podcast, that's when I will be placing my order, if it is actually up yet. I was told Monday morning or Monday it would be up. I'm going to be one of the first to purchase the latest box. And that will be my first box opening here on Pillar to Post. Now, we've got the sponsors out of the way. I want to direct you to the links in the description box below. My Teespring stores. One is Pillar to Post as well as Circle of Steel. They have a couple of Pillar to Post t-shirts there now available to you, and you can support the channel by purchasing one, or you can visit my Circle of Steel store, and there is a ton of merchandise there available for you. You can find my Facebook merchandise page, my Facebook author page, where I talk a little bit about the novel I wrote, the fantasy fiction novel titled Dragon's Kin, book 1 in the Circle of Steel series. And then, if you want to send me a friend request on Facebook, that link is there as well. Another way to support the channel is through Patreon. You can support the channel for as low as $1 a month at patreon.com/pillar to post. And if you want to contact me on Twitter, it is at Pillar to Post 77. Last but not least, you want to order, say, the beanie you just seen me wearing, or a t-shirt like the one I'm wearing right now, Circle of Steel or Pillar to Post, and you want the vinyl edition, you have to order through me, and that is at steeldragon1234@hotmail.com. That is also in the description below. So today I did the my co-host for Shooting from the Hips. I did his fantasy booking of Monday Night Raw. Did pretty well. I think it's 59 hits right now as we count. And there is a deal. There is not a deal. There is a punishment deal, I should say, involving these fantasy bookings. Whichever of us has the most likes. He has Monday Night Raw. I have Tuesday SmackDown, done both at 4 p.m. Whichever one of the videos has the most likes, the loser with the least likes has to consume a shot glass filled with Carolina Reaper hot sauce. That is the punishment. A massive punishment. Now, last week I lost. not legit lost. My co-host went and used every single one of his YouTube accounts to actually get just a little nudge ahead of my video for SmackDown. Wasn't too happy to see that, but I'm an honorable son of a bitch. And the deal was the person with the least likes will take the punishment. I will not back down. I will be consuming one shot of Carolina Reaper hot sauce this Wednesday, or I should say Thursday, at 8 p.m. on Shooting from the Hip, right here, live on Pillar to Post. I will not be able to consume anything else to quench the burn, the intensity of the burn, other than drinking water so I can get through it. And I have to do that for 1 hour, stay on the show live. Gonna have a puke bucket with me just in case the bad thing happens. I'll make sure that is not caught on tape or on camera. I'll make sure I move away from the camera to do that nasty crap. I don't need that on my show. But you're gonna see this guy in a hell of a lot of pain. That is for damn sure. So we've got that, and we've got this weekend's live Big Dog Wrestling Indie League using the 2K17. We have combined YouTubers as well as Facebook Wrestler Unstoppable users. We have created one big community here, and we're having an indie-like feeling federation. It has been off the hook. These guys in the live chat have been awesome. I'm laughing. I am spewing my pop almost all over my equipment because of their hijinks. It has been a wonderful experience, and I'm going to be continuing it on a weekly basis, every Friday and Saturday at 6 p.m. But I do have one last announcement. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do this for you tomorrow. SmackDown review results show will not be done tomorrow because my daughter's graduation is tomorrow, and it conflicts with the SmackDown taping or the live show. So this dog's going to be going to support his daughter right where I need to be, because to me, family always comes first, and that's where it's going to be, is with my daughter at her side as she graduates from grade 8. So I will probably have to watch it later on the night or watch it the next day and do my review the next day. So I do apologize for that. But like I said, my family comes first, and I've got to put them first because this is my youngest. She is the last one in elementary school. She's going to grade 9 after the summer. I'm loving it, and she's excited, and I want to share in that excitement. So let's move on to the show. Our first segment is held inside that ring to the, man, you would not believe it, the amount of boos, the chants of "We want Braun, we want Strowman" chants. Unbelievable. Roman Reigns completely booed out of the building. Completely. And rightfully so. Everyone is sick to death of hearing the same damn thing from him. This is my yard, and I will make the rules here. Blah, 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 blah. Get the stick out of your ass and bring us something new. So let's move right on to the show. So Reigns, in the ring, got, he tries to give this intense scowl to the fans all the time when he's in that ring. And to me, it's like, did he, maybe have a wet fart? A little bit chunky there, buddy? Is that what your problem is? It's just kind of like that sometimes when you see his appearance. Now, the crowd, like I said, was chanting, "We want Strowman," throughout the beginning of his attempt to speak. And Roman just simply glares at the WWE Universe, and as Reigns tries to speak, the crowd drowns him out again. Reigns tells the fans that if they give him just one moment, they may like what he has to say. Now, Reigns says last week on Raw, Samoa Joe put the coquina clutch on him and put him to sleep. Braun Strowman made his return afterwards and picked the bones. Now Reigns notes that he has never been in an ambulance match, but he accepts Strowman's challenge. Reigns says he is going to throw Strowman in the back of the ambulance, hop in the driver's seat, and drive Strowman straight to hell. Kind of trying to steal a little bit of Undertaker's lines. You know, if you ever watched one of Undertaker's ambulance matches, he basically said the exact same thing. I'm going to throw you in that ambulance and I'm going to drive you to hell. You know, kind of same thing. Why, he says, because this is Reigns' yard. Now, right then, we get the ambulance backups beeping that we heard last week when Braun Strowman reappeared and went on the attack. Reigns slowly walks towards the ambulance as it backs into the arena, and he very tentatively opens up the rear doors of the ambulance, and there is no one inside. Now Strowman attacks Reigns from behind, just like I expected would happen, and Strowman picks Reigns up and tosses him from the pit halfway across the stage. Excellently done. He showed, the power that he possesses. Now, clearly, Reigns helps along to make it look even better, but for the most part, Reigns is one tough motherfucker. Now, Reigns does try to fight back. Reigns calls for the Superman punch, but Strowman catches Reigns in midair and tosses him from the stage into the side of the ambulance. Now Strowman picks up Roman Reigns and tosses him into the back of the ambulance, closes the door, slaps the back of the ambulance, and the ambulance drives off. Strowman celebrates on the stage, and that was a great way to start the show. However, it does not get much better than that. As always, the big thing happens at the beginning, and there's maybe another big thing happen near the end of the show, but that's all you're going to get. So moving on, we get an in-ring segment with Elias Samson, Cesaro, and Sheamus. They're all sitting on stools. Samson announces that he is normally a solo act, but tonight, because they are in LA, he expanded to a trio. Before Samson can start singing, the Hardy Boys music plays them off. And we get that nasty scowl from Elias Samson once again. Now Cesaro and Sheamus start throwing out the stools and getting ready for the match about to take place. And it will be a 6-man tag. Elias Samson, Cesaro, and Sheamus will take on the Hardy Boys and Finn Balor. Now Matt and Sheamus start the match off with a lockup. Sheamus headbutts Matt and telegraphs a back body drop, which allows the Hardys to get the advantage. The Hardys hit Poetry in Motion on Sheamus. Cesaro runs into the ring and is quickly dispatched by the Hardys. Balor tries to attack Samson, but Samson hightails it out of the ring. Now we go to a break, but after the break, the Hardys and Balor are working over Cesaro. Cesaro attempts a sunset flip, but Balor rolls through and dropkicks Cesaro in the face. Cesaro tags in Sheamus. Sheamus hits about 5 of the 10 beats of the Bodhrán, but I believe it's called Bodhrán. Bowden. Damn, my tongue is just tongue-tied today. Now the fans begin to chant along with which they usually do, the 10 beats of the Bodhrán. They start counting along, and for some reason Sheamus stops. Now, they all begin to beat down on Balor. Balor manages to tag in Jeff. Jeff double legs Sheamus and drop kicks him below the belt. Sorry about that. My writing's sometimes a little bit off for even me. Jeff goes for the Swanton, but Cesaro pulls Sheamus out of the ring. But Jeff dives off the top onto Cesaro. Now, this spot here looked like he kind of lost his balance because it looked like he was actually intending to take out both Sheamus and Cesaro. And it looked like his legs got a little bit weak. And he just basically went for it a little bit earlier and just took out Cesaro. That's what I took from it. It looked like a bit of a botched move. I could be wrong, but to me, that's the way it looked. Now, as Jeff tries to get back into the ring, Samson hooks his leg. Sheamus destroys Jeff with a running knee to the face. We go to another commercial break, and when we come back, Sheamus has Jeff in a top wrist lock. Sheamus destroys Jeff once again with an Irish Curse backbreaker, and Jeff surprises Sheamus with a Stone Cold Stunner. It was supposed to be a Twist of Fate. Performs very similar to the Twist of Fate, but it ended with a stunner instead. Like I said, it was supposed to be the Twist of Fate. I'm calling it a Stone Cold Stunner because it was identical to one except for the little twist into it. Jeff manages to tag in his brother Matt, and Samson is in for the other opposing team. Matt slams Samson's head into the turnbuckle repeatedly, one after another until he's down to the bottom turnbuckle. Cesaro hits the ring and tosses Matt shoulder first into the corner. Cesaro and Sheamus hit their finisher on Matt. Balor, however, makes the save, and Balor penalty kicks Samson in the face on the apron. Sheamus misses the brogue kick, and Balor clotheslines him over the top rope. Balor also hits the tope con hilo onto Cesaro and Samson. Now Hardy, I believe it's Matt Hardy, hits the Twist of Fate on the floor to Sheamus. Balor sling blades Cesaro, then torpedo drop kicks him into the corner. Balor nails the coup de grace on Cesaro for the victory, and your winners of that match, it was Finn Balor and the Hardy Boys. Now this wasn't a bad match. They had their moments, they had their spots, but it kind of comes off like every match they've had. I don't know why they're having so many six-man tags. I really don't understand why the Hardy Boys have to be facing off against against Sheamus and Cesaro almost every week. Okay, we understand they are in a feud, but does it have to be a match every week? It can be a backstage attack. It can be some kind of confrontation. They can wrestle other tag teams on alternate weeks leading up to their tag team match at the pay-per-view. Like, you have so many tag teams you're not using, and yet you're going to continue to use the same guys over and over and over again. Makes no sense to me. Mix it up a little bit. Give us something a little bit fresh that we haven't seen for a while, and maybe these matches will start to make a little sense. We got a backstage segment with Goldust. He tells us it's showtime. Tonight, the Shattered Truth hits the stage. Goldust is putting the finishing touches on his masterpiece. The Golden Age is back, and it is upon us. So up next, Goldust versus R-Truth. Now Goldust comes out to the ring with his old attire, the original Goldust attire, except for the white wig. But this time, instead of Marlena, he's got a cameraman dressed up all in gold. The camera's all in gold. R-Truth's music finally hits, and Truth Power walks to the ring. There's no rapping, shockingly. No dancing, no nothing. He's straight ass, walking to the ring, ready to get things on. Goldust hides behind his cameraman, and then Goldust hits a sneak attack, punches Truth in the face. Goldust slams Truth's arm into the ring post, and a beatdown occurs following that. Now this was done as a no contest. Basically, Goldust just wailed on R-Truth right from the get-go. The match never officially got started, and it was just deemed a no contest because R-Truth could not continue. So basically filler, you know. These guys, they've been building this fight up for so long, and then we just get this little thing, and it's done. Get another backstage segment. This time, Paul Heyman says Brock Lesnar will be here tonight. Lesnar will walk to the ring and call out Samoa Joe for a fight. As Heyman is speaking, Samoa Joe runs up behind him and basically just fakes him out with a coquina clutch. Joe tells Heyman the clutch wasn't meant for him. It's meant for his client. Heyman quickly scurries away. So we know we have that to look forward to tonight. another altercation between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Now backstage, Kurt Angle is spinning a bingo spinner to give Bayley her entry number for the number one contenders gauntlet match later tonight in the main event. Bayley doesn't give us any real indication of if she is happy or upset about the number she drew. But I had my suspicions. My suspicions came true. And we'll get into that later on. But first we've got Miz TV. You know, I have thought Miz TV was terrible for quite some time. Tonight took it to a whole new level of just sheer garbage. The Ball family were the guests of Miz TV. I really did not like the segment. I hate all these highlight reel type shows to begin with. They do nothing. The Miz is the Intercontinental Champion. What has he done since capturing that title to elevate it? What has he done to elevate it? Please, tell me. Inform me. I might be a little misguided. It's been Miz TV every week since he got the title. Yes, he does a little match here and there, and now he's got his entourage with him. Now, this whole thing was basically just to segue into the match coming up next. Yes, another 6-man tag. But first, let's hit you up with what went down on Miz TV. Miz tries to kiss Maurice, but she turns her head. This furthering the whole rumor that Maurice and Miz will be splitting up on television, and he will be going solo with his entourage. Now, Miz tries to convince the WWE Universe they are happy. Miz says his next guest is the only person talked about more than him. LeVar Balls with LaMelo Ball. LeVar runs down to the ring like a fool and rolls into the ring. This whole thing just looked like a complete goof, by the way. I want to say that. LeVar introduces Lonzo Ball. The crowd is lukewarm until Lonzo mentions he is happy to be at the Staples Center for the first time as a Laker. The crowd pops for that, and Miz says he is happy to have a partnership with Big Baller Brand. LeVar says there are only 3 letters in Big Baller Brand. BBB. Miz says they can add an M. LeVar scoffs. Miz says he knows they came to announce a partnership with their favorite WWE superstar. LeVar says Miz is a little too low for them right now. They need someone on Lonzo's level. So Miz gets into LeVar's face. LeVar tells LaMelo to handle his light work. Now I want to say something about this whole little conflict that took place here on the Miz TV show. You could tell it was a goof. Not one serious moment happened in this whole segment. It was supposed to be a confrontation. Yet, Ball had a smile, even his kids, a big smile on his face, the whole entire segment. They knew it was a goof, and yet they didn't even try to make it sound believable. Now, Miz tells LeVar he doesn't want to deal with his children. He wants to deal with LeVar. LeVar tells Miz to stay in his lane. Miz says, or what? Miz takes off his ring jacket. LeVar goes nuts and tells Miz to put his clothes back on. Miz refuses, so LeVar takes his shirt off and starts doing karate poses. This is where Dean Ambrose finally comes out, as Lonzo is running around the ring like a complete moron. Dean Ambrose's music hits and he walks out to the ring. Well, out on stage, I should say. Ambrose is wearing a Big Baller Brand t-shirt, and Ambrose tells LeVar to keep doing what he is doing. Ambrose tells Miz that the Balls wanted someone with balls to represent them. Since Ambrose has big balls, they picked him. Plus, he likes free t-shirts. And that was the segue into the 6-man tag team match, which made absolutely no fucking sense to this podcaster. So it ends up being Dean Ambrose, Heath Slater, and Rhino versus The Miz and what he calls his Miztourage. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, with Maurice in the corner as well. So, Ambrose beats the crap out of Dallas and Axel right off the hop. They get used and abused like usual. Miz keeps on running away from Ambrose. Ambrose eventually tags in Slater, and Slater and Rhino hit a double back elbow on Axel. Rhino lands a few headbutts before Axel catches him with a knee to the gut. The take turns beating down on Rhino. Axel runs right into a back elbow from Rhino. Rhino explodes out of the corner with a clothesline, sending Axel down to the mat. Now Rhino tags in Ambrose, who manages to simultaneously clothesline and bulldog Axel and Dallas. Rhino and Slater toss Miz over the top rope onto Dallas and Axel, and after a short break, we've got Miz and his crew working over Slater. Now after the Miz clotheslines, Miz hits the It Kicks, formerly known as the Yes Kicks, and Slater catches Miz with a flapjack. Before Slater can tag out, Dallas cuts him off. Slater almost tags in Ambrose, but Miz knocks Ambrose off the apron. Slater, however, is able to tag in Rhino shortly after. Rhino spinebusters Dallas. Miz breaks up the pin. Ambrose chases Miz around the ring. Axel decks Rhino while the referee has his back turned. Dallas rolls up Rhino for the win. So we've got the heels taking the win in this one. Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. Was it a good match? Absolutely not. Okay, this was all just one big pile of steaming crap that was supposed to entertain us, yet it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. And we know, come Great Balls of Fire, it will be The Miz versus Ambrose once again for the Intercontinental title. Again, another boring Intercontinental match. Basically, nothing new going to come out of it. Either The Miz will retain or Ambrose will get it back. And either way, the Intercontinental title will not be used the way it should be used. It will not be used to elevate talent that needs to be elevated. It will not grow to the standards that it once had. So, what's the point, really? So we get an in-ring segment, Enzo Amore. So Enzo says he isn't doing too good. This isn't about him, though. It's supposed to be about the realest guys in the room, not the realest guy in the room. Enzo takes off his sweater, and he is wearing an Enzo and Cass t-shirt. Cass says he has tried to get in contact with Cass all week, even calling Cass's mother. Now, since Cass doesn't want to handle this in private, they can do this in public. Cass comes to the ring. Enzo tells Cass he hurt him. Cass said a lot of things, and most of them were right. Now, Enzo says he knows he isn't the biggest guy in the world, and sometimes his mouth gets him into trouble. That was okay because he has Cass. Enzo tells Cass that he is his brother. Enzo says he is proud of everything Cass has accomplished, with or without him. Now, they are family. Enzo refuses to let Cass break that bond before they become WWE Tag Team Champions. Cass finally picks up the mic, says Enzo doesn't know when to shut up. But Cass has to admit that he has never been so ashamed of himself as he was last week. They are brothers. In front of the world, Cass apologizes to Enzo. Now Cass extends his hand for a handshake. Finally, after a moment of contemplation, Enzo finally accepts the handshake and they embrace in a man hug. Now Cass tells anyone who doesn't like this that there is only one word to describe them, and Cass and Enzo celebrate and walk up the ramp. Now, if you thought this was a fairy tale here, this segment, where these this team was going to reform after the abuse of how many weeks of Enzo being attacked at the hands of Big Cass. You were damn well dreaming, folks, because that's the only time fantasies that work out. Once they are on top of the stage, Cass demolishes Enzo with a huge clothesline, picks him up in a gorilla press, and tosses him down the ramp. Enzo rolls down, and quickly, the referee and EMT are there to check on the little guy. I thought it was done perfectly to end that segment. I didn't want to see them back together. Frankly, I'm tired of the whole Enzo and Cass thing. Okay? I'm not tired of what they're doing right now. I am tired of what they were doing previously, because every time we were told, and the rumors were out there, that they were finally getting the title opportunity, it was always snatched away because someone new came into the business, or Vince McMahon decided, you know what? I'd rather watch Enzo getting ragdolled than have him wearing a title. So it just didn't fit. Now, Big Cass going solo. That works. He's a big man, 7 foot tall, and with a little bit of help with his mic skills, he's going to be a star. Yes, he was a star already, but his star is going to shine even brighter. I cannot wait till they start getting him involved in more storylines with top competitors. Now, Cass later on walks up to Corey Graves and tells him that he should snap his neck. Cass can't because Kurt Angle told him he can't lay a hand on Graves. He doesn't know what kind of what Graves has on Angle, but it must be big. So the warning was there. Keep on opening up your flap. I'm going to shut it for you. Up next, Seth Rollins versus Kurt Hawkins. And as usual, not a great match when Kurt Hawkins is in, but it was a longer match. It wasn't just a squash match like we normally see. Now, before the match starts, Hawkins asks the crowd who he thinks will win and who they think will lose. Hawkins starts off hitting a stiff clothesline and a back suplex for a near fall. Rollins avoids a trip by Hawkins and hits a sling blade followed by a springboard knee. Rollins super kicks Hawkins. Rollins hits the ripcord knee for the win. Now, I didn't go into a lot of details, but there you go. Seth Rollins for the win. As per usual, they're not going to have Hawkins beat Seth Rollins. They did allow him to do a few more moves than usual in this match. And although I did not say every move that he used, there was a lot more than I did actually put in here. Now, after the match is finished, Bray Wyatt appears on the Titantron and calls Rollins a false prophet for leading the WWE Universe astray. Wyatt says he is going to save Rollins, and Rollins is going to be cleansed by Wyatt's sword. Sounded a little bit sexual to me. Must be me. I'm not sure. Gonna cleanse him with his sword. Now, they go to the parking lot, and Heyman is waiting for Lesnar to arrive backstage, and Lesnar finally pulls up in the arena with a what looked like a Escalade or whatever, some kind of SUV. Backstage, Sasha Banks is shown getting her number for the gauntlet match later tonight. And then we move right into the in-ring segment with Paul Heyman. Now, we all know how Heyman likes to start his promos. My name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Always does it, always the same, but he does it well. Okay? Now, Heyman tells us once again that Joe doesn't fear Brock Lesnar. A few weeks ago, Joe cheap-shotted his client, Brock Lesnar. One would think by now Joe would have a healthy fear of Lesnar. Joe has proven to be a Samoan dumbass. Now, Heyman calls Lesnar down to the ring. Lesnar walks out on stage, but before Lesnar can walk down the ramp, Joe runs up behind him and tries to lock in the Coquina clutch. And he manages to get it on somewhat. Now Lesnar tries to fight out of it and pushes Joe into the LED boards. Joe will not let go and is like a pit bull on a bone. Now Lesnar drives Joe into the LED board once again. Joe holds on and fully locks in the coquina clutch. Now Lesnar's down to one knee, and Lesnar's face is beat red at this point. WWE superstars quickly pull Joe off of Lesnar. Now as Joe is being pulled away, he screams, "I did this to you. I did this to you. Nobody did this to you but Joe." That was a statement tonight. That was a good segment. I am happy to see that Lesnar is actually working with Joe to make this into a bigger fight feel. Everyone so far that has tried to work with Lesnar, he has refused all the ideas going into the match. Look at that, what was it supposed to be? A hardcore match between him and Dean Ambrose, Extreme Rules or something. He refused all of Dean Ambrose's ideas to make that match even bigger than it was. And believe me, that match sucked. Okay? If he would have allowed a little bit of leeway into using weapons more and making it into something that could be viewed as extreme, I think that match could have worked. But instead, denied everything. And it was another suplex, F5 pin. Lince Dorado versus Neville. Now, I want to say something before I talk about this match. Is it me, or is WWE only willing to make Neville look good in that ring when it comes to the cruiserweights? Honestly. Is it just me? Because I've watched the Cruiserweight Challenge tournament. That was exciting. Now, the only one that is made to look good is Neville. Now, yes, when there is a number one contender being named, they make them look somewhat good, but they don't want them to outshine Neville. And we get shitty matches. We get one-way matches. Neville all the way straight through. And I'm tired of it, okay? Neville can't win every single match. Yes, he is a great star for the Cruiserweight division. But give me a break, okay? Really, does it always have to be him? I like what he does in the ring, but I know that all these other guys in that Cruiserweight division can put on great matches. And yet, they make it so Neville is the only one that is the one making the highest spots. I'm tired of it. I want to see some other guys shine. Not just when they get a title shot, I'm talking straight through. And frankly, that's not happening anytime soon. Now, Akira Tozawa is on the outside of the ring, dressed like a member of, I don't know, a Chinese mafia type dude, you know? Straight black suit, sunglasses, spiked hair, looking all intense and serious. Looking kind of like the Yakuza, you know? And this is the tightest worldwide brand. He's got a little box made up of purple rope, you know, to make it a box office setting. You know, he is the number one contender at this moment, and he should look like he is important. And he's got a little box of popcorn, a hot dog, and God knows what else was on that little table. It was ridiculous. So, the match is pretty straightforward. It was Neville straight through. Neville kicks Dorado in the gut. Neville slams Dorado's head into the ring post. Dorado catches Neville with a drop kick, but Neville ends up on the outside. Dorado hits a suicide senton through the ropes, and Dorado lands a splash off the top for a near fall, but that was all he was allotted. Neville pulls out Dorado's mask to distract him, and Neville locks in the Rings of Saturn for the win. Your winner, the king of the cruiserweights, Neville. Now after the match, Tozawa gets in the ring. Titus O'Neil quite quickly comes out on stage, announces that Tozawa will face Neville at Great Balls of Fire for the Cruiserweight Championship title. He will finally get to find out if the Neville level is better than the power, or I should say the power, of Tozawa. Lame, I know. Backstage, Heyman says Joe isn't like other Samoans. Other Samoans are warriors. They don't attack people from behind. As a promoter, Heyman loves this. But if Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch, there will be a new Universal Champion. When Lesnar gets his hands on Joe and finally hits an F5, Joe will be in a trainer's room, and the trainer will look at him and say, "Is that what it looks like to face the Beast? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire." You know, that was all good until he got to the end. Okay? Why? I know they're supposed to hype up the pay-per-view. It is in 2 weeks. But why? Okay, Heyman is better than that. They don't need to stick those words into his craw. Get another backstage segment. Alexa Bliss tries to appeal to Nia Jax's kindness. Bliss tells Jax good luck even though she doesn't need it. Jax tells Bliss she is right. She doesn't need it. Jax will see Bliss and the Women's Championship at Great Balls of Fire. Now, there was some other buttering up before this. Alexa Bliss was basically saying we are the same. We've been looked upon and judged unfairly. You know, basically trying to butter Nia Jax up. Did not work in Alexa Bliss's favor. So we move on to the number one contenders gauntlet match. Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Emma versus Mickie James versus Dana Brooke and versus Nia Jax. But who drew the first two numbers? Number 1 and 2. Well, that ended up being Bayley drawing number 1 and Nia Jax drawing number 2. And they start this match off. Now Bayley kicks Jax in the knee. Bayley hits a few strikes, but Jax picks her up and snake eyes her on the top turnbuckle. Jax obliterates Bayley with a clothesline. Now Bayley does catch Jax with a stiff strike. Bayley goes up top and floors Jax with a diving elbow drop for a 2 count. Bayley tries to work over Jax's legs. Jax kicks Bayley into the corner. Jax goes up top and Jax hits the rope and Bayley is sent careening to the floor. Jax picks up Bayley and Samoan drops her. Bayley, done. Quick succession. She's eliminated from this gauntlet match. Mickie James is out next. She is the third woman to enter this fray. Jax tosses James across the ring by her hair. Picks up James and picks up James's fallen carcass and locks in a bear hug. Now James reverses it into a sunset flip. Jax counters it into another bear hug. Now James fights out of this with a few stiff right hands. James tries to slide under Jax's legs, but Jax cuts her off. Now James kicks Jax in the chest. James hits a seated senton off the top rope, and she hits the Mick kick, but Jax does not fall. Now James hits the ropes, but Jax runs her over like a freight train. James, done, and eliminated from the gauntlet match. Up next, Dana Brooks. Now she comes out strong. She does this gymnastics-like flip on stage, comes down to the ring. Brooke tries her cartwheel elbow, but Jax swats her out of the air like a gnat. Not even a fly, a gnat. Jax hits her leg drop on Brooke, and Brooke is done for, eliminated. She is hit 1, 2, 3, gone. Quick succession. Quick. Not even worthy of being in this match. Now Emma comes down next. She is the fourth woman in this match. And walks to the ring. Now Jax grabs Emma's hair from the outside. Emma started entering the ring. Jax started moving towards her. She dropped down off the apron to the outside. Jax grabs her by the hair, and Emma hits the hot shot. Now, She follows that up with a basement drop kick for a near fall. Emma goes up top for a splash. Jax catches Emma and Samoa drops her. Jax pins Emma. Also another quick fall. Emma is now eliminated, I should say. And now finally, Sasha Banks, the last woman in. And I knew it right when I could envision this when Bayley started the match off. They were not going to have heel versus heel in the end. It was going to be a babyface. And if Bayley wasn't coming out the last woman, it was going to be Sasha Banks. So, the final entrant is Sasha Banks. Banks hits the ring and slaps Jax in the face. Jax charges Banks, but Banks pulls down the second rope and Jax falls to the outside. Now Banks tries to dive through the ropes onto Jax, but Jax catches her. Jax tries to set up for a Samoan drop, but Banks quickly counters, sends Jax into the ring post. Now Banks climbs up to the apron and takes Jax out with a running double knee strike to the chest. Rides her down to the floor too, I should say. Now after a short break, Jax dumps Banks to the outside, I should say. Jax tries to splash Banks in the corner, but Banks moves out of the way. Now Sasha lands a few strikes, and Banks hits the ropes, but Jax almost decapitates her with a vicious clothesline and goes for a pinfall, but Banks kicks out quickly at 2. Now Jax throws Sasha to the outside once again, screams at the ref to counter out. Banks is almost counted out. She rolls back in and tries to assault Jax, but Nia swats her away once again like a fly. And we get a body slam by Nia, and Banks kicks out of another near fall. Elbow drop by Jax, and Jax picks up Banks and tosses her to the outside once again. Screams at the ref to counter out. Banks gets into the ring at the last possible moment, and Jax runs over Banks once again. Now, Nia puts Banks in a rope-assisted camel clutch. Looked like it was killer on the neck. Banks tries to kick Jax, but Jax grabs Banks' leg and elbow drops it shortly after that camel clutch. Now, Jax puts Banks in a bear hug. Banks tries to reverse it into a guillotine, but Jax counters that into a release suplex. Now, Sasha manages a kick out, and Jax tries to suplex Banks again, but Sasha reverses into an attempted schoolboy. Now Jax swats away at Banks' hand and tries another leg drop. Sasha moves out of the way, and Banks hits the rope and levels Jax with a shining wizard. Banks hits a tilt-a-whirl into a standing Banks statement. Jax tosses Banks across the ring, and Sasha charges Jax, but Jax tosses Banks into the air and hits a huge Samoan drop. We got Sasha rolls out of the ring, and Jax tries another Samoan drop, but Banks reverses that into another modified Banks statement. Banks on Jax's back with both arms, chicken wing with her legs. Jax eventually falls down with both knees. Jax has no choice but to tap out. Your winner of the women's #1 contender gauntlet match, Sasha Banks. Now after the match, Kurt Angle comes down to the ring, raises Banks' hand. Alexa Bliss comes down to the ring and raises the title in Banks' face. Banks hits the drop kick, and Bliss rolls to the outside. Sasha grabs the women's title, and Banks literally kicks Bliss out of the ring while posing with the women's championship. That was your main event of the night. Like I said, it wasn't the best of nights. It wasn't the greatest of nights. It would have been a good time to have an early night for me, but then I wouldn't be here doing this for you. Now, if you stuck it out through the whole show, I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed, hit that like button. If you have yet to subscribe to the Pillar to Post channel, always hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell so you get your notifications. And as always, this has been Pete Wall. You've been watching Pillar to Post. Have a great night, and I will see you for this fantasy booking at 4 p.m. tomorrow for SmackDown. See you, and don't be late because big things going down for the fantasy booking of SmackDown. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.